And we're...
I want to explain a bit of RAM.
Yeah. Good.
I think at home I had a good example. I actually had a great example for I don't remember. I'd love to show it those.
Tala? Are you sure that's an okay spot for you?
I certain times.
Yeah? Okay. All right.
But yeah, I think to say right,
My confidence is my priority. I'm just gonna get my scarf.
Did you share it in sec?
Oh, shoot.
He's in Toronto, I believe. Yeah? Who then? I'm still waiting for the...
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So, some of you guys already seen that it mentioned RAM and M units. These units are they can be used for not only fonts, but they should be used mainly for fonts and everything that is related to fonts. It could be font shaping and anything. These two units are relative, so it means that they're not fixed like pixels. Pixel fonts are like, you set something to 12 pixels, it always be 12 pixels, and that's how it works. While M and RAM units are dependent on some other setting. For instance, base setting, okay, maybe we could go up. Okay, so the thing is that I don't know actually, I don't remember what exactly M stands for. So the first they released a unit called M, E and M. So it means it's relative to its parent's size. So that means that if you have a div block with that sets that everything that inside of that block it should be 1 M size, and then inside of that element, if you set another heading and set it to be all 0.8 M's, it will be 0.8 of that parent class. So it's relative to its parent class setting of an M unit. So in this case, you can set like, and also you can see it's very, very different because it uses very low units. It's also based on the root one. So every time you create a website, you set HTML to, okay, my base size is, on the HTML you say like font size 16 pixels on the HTML. Okay, now it became your root size of fonts. So which means that 16 pixels that you set is equal to 1 M. So every time you say 1.2 M's, so it's 1.2 of 16 pixels. So that's how it works.
Sorry, I think you are talking about behind.
No, that's M. It's also M. So everything, M and RAM also, the starting point is root. But then again, M is different from RAM. That M also then it depends on its parent. So now if you say to body class that everything's in a body class is 0.8 M's, means everything will be around 14 pixels because it's 0.8 of 16 pixels. And then if you set something H1 inside of the body to also 0.8 M's, it will not be 14 pixels. It will be 0.8 of that 0.8. So it depends on your parent element. It goes down and down and down. It makes sense. So we can maybe see example here. So look, on this side you can see in HTML we said that 100% is 22 pixels, 137, and inside of that division we set another one to 0.73. It became 17 pixels. But even if we say again here 0.73, it's not the same. It becomes 77% of that 17 pixels. So it becomes 12 pixels.
It's like parent.
It's like going from parent. M means I'm relative to my parent size. So it is relevant to that size.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is relevant to that size, and that is M. While the rem units, they only are relative to the root size. So it doesn't matter about this, doesn't matter about this. It only matters if it's 0 point or whatever your rem setting is from that element. So, but then you can ask yourself, why would you do this? It seems so complicated. Why not just use pixels everywhere? The thing is, when you have a responsive design, go down a bit. If you look at here, that's a very good example. We say that on mobile, we don't want, for instance, on desktop, we have big fonts, right? And on mobile, we have small fonts. You don't need to be everything that big, like on a desktop computer. So instead of you, every time you have a breakpoint and rewriting, like they're like, on my, let's say, on my regular settings, everything is font size, pixels, blah, blah, blah. On smaller screen size that is desktop, I make everything slightly bigger, you can see it. So instead me every time rewriting each and every setting for my font, I can make them relative. And only when they say like, okay, on a bigger screen, I just change the root size. And automatically all the rest fonts that are depending on the root will become bigger. So that's more of a flexible way of setting font sizes depending on one setting. So it's instead of every font I need to change, I just need to change one root element, or let's say. So when to use rem or m is absolutely depending on you and your project. So in some cases you want the items to be relative to parent, and it makes sense a lot of cases when you have, I don't know, some boxes that it totally depends on the box bigger size. You don't want it to be reflected on the root, but you just like have this one separate element that has a box with all the elements. So I only change that size, and then I would use arms. So it's a responsive. It's this flexible and relative unit sizing helps you to deal with the very big websites where you have a lot of different settings for fonts, and at the same time tackle when you have different breakpoints and different screens to have bigger and smaller fonts instead of for each breakpoint rewriting all of them again and again and again. So maybe it doesn't make sense a lot of right now, but then later on when designers give you design for mobile, tablet, and desktop, and you can see that all the sizes are super different, you'll see that, oh my god, I need to rewrite the fonts again and again and again. And then you can use rems, and you will not need to. So that's an explanation. Any questions? Oh, I hope it's clear.
We shared the link for this in the Slack channel.
Give it a read, you'll see the difference. Actually, it explains the same what I told you, but maybe more in detail. So maybe I also have better examples. So go ahead, give it a go.
Wait, just to make sure. So EM is basically the size of an element compared to its parent element.
Excellent, yes.
And
Great.
REM is the size of an element compared to the whole HTML.
Yeah, to the root element. The one that you set on the top of the page.
Okay.
Yes.
And the rock band.
Right. I'm happy. Yes. It went through.
All right. So.
Okay, so next thing is, as I promised, we're going to talk about layouts a bit. And now our next assignment would be based on that. So, yeah, maybe you would just give. But this is Flexbox, so maybe just give a bit of explanation and give this as a homework.
Yeah.
So, in homework, there's two links. They're going to back up what I'm going to explain right now. They're going to talk about different layouts, how you can use CSS to lay out and put things in different positions, and it's very interesting. And these two assignments, it's not assignments, it's actually two games.
I can just
Yeah.
open them quickly so you can see how fun they look. They look
It's
so
actually
much
pretty
fun.
fun. It's
Yeah.
the best way to learn because
Look at this.
it's gonna give you a task
Gonna
and you
be
have
great.
to do something here, but you're gonna use Flexbox in this one. So we're gonna
And this one as well.
yeah.
You should really do it because it looks like it's just gonna be fun.
I have a question. I actually did the Flexbox froggy,
Mhm.
and I understood how to use Flex, and then I tried to use it in my
Mhm.
code, and it never works.
Try more, but okay, I'll come and help you later on.
Yeah.
But let me explain to everyone. And yeah, the thing is, the Flexbox. Let's start with what kind of positionings do you know? I saw that some of you already use position like float positioning.
Then we have absolute,
Relative,
relative.
Yeah.
clear, no.
Yeah, clear is just a setting for a positioning. So way before, yeah, fixed as well. There's sticky. There's quite a few of them. So you guys, you should check it out in the position. But it used to be, at least before, I always used float, like a long time before. Before we having a responsive website, it was easiest way to say that. You say float right, float left, and things will be on the right side or on the left side, and they will stack. So it means if I take one object and say float to right, and 50%, and then when float to right, left, right, they will stack next to each other. So that's floating. But then when designs became flexible, you see in the previous example when we showed where there's a newspaper website where things in the big screen, they're next to each other, then they fall down and down. We want more flexibility to say where things end up later. And now we need some more settings. So Flexbox is actually the tool to help you with CSS to position elements in different places. First of all, what it happens, Flexbox is a setting you say for a bigger element. So you take one big element, you say that okay, all the elements inside will be positioned with using display flex positioning. So what it does, it's just gonna say okay, we're gonna apply certain rules. Pretty complicated, but I would like you guys to read it in detail. I'm gonna share a link. And it has a lot of settings. What you can do is you can set elements to be one next to each other, to fall under each other. You can swap in HTML, but that's the thing. In HTML, you have elements in a certain order. But with display flex, you can swap them around without changing the HTML. You can say that okay, order. You can say that this was 0, this was 1. You can say that when design changes, like Flexbox and this certain, you can say that they need to swap location. You can say if you have a list of elements, you can say that okay, I need them to be reversed, so they will totally change your position. So what was the last one becomes the first one. It has a lot of options to position your elements. I'm not going to go in detail what kind of options there are because there are plenty, and you need to learn them. But the only way to learn them is actually practice. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to jump into assignment, and we're going to try to use it. And I'll help you as much as I can, and also give you pointers for homework for you to look and how to do it. But right now, I just want you to,
All follow this link.
follow this link, and there's assignment number 3, which we're going to do right now. And this is step by step we're going to learn. And in addition to that, at home, try the froggy thing and the other thing to do. Okay. So, do we know where to start? Yeah. That's what I'm going to share the most. That's the previous. This is the best part.
So maybe it's
This is everything
confusing.
is
So if you
explained.
follow up here, see, this is
complicated.
your assignment.
Mhm.
And
But now focus on the
if you
assignment.
go all the
This
way up, you see week 2. I'm going to open that in another tab. So here is week 2. And I have a folder in week 2 called homework 2. I click that. And there's an HTML file and some images. And you need to download that, both of those, the images and the HTML file, and follow these instructions. Sorry? It says just to download. No, it says download.
Okay, but you can fork if you know how to fork.
Yeah, if you can. Yeah.
How can you download them?
Yeah. So you go to the files, right?
And right?
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, yes. Try going to each file and just download file by file.
Yeah.
You probably want to go inside the file, otherwise you can't. And then down. Wait.
Yeah. So that's why
Shit.
I would be like.
Or you guys can do something else, which is also amazing. You can go to. No, but you can only download the whole HTML CSS. Go to HTML CSS. You can download everything. If you really want to download it or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So another way to do is download the whole repository of HTML and CSS. So you could have all the classes and all the homework for future. So you can also go to this directly HTML CSS and in the corner just clone or download and you download the zip. That's another way. Yeah. But keep in mind we're still changing some of the homework sometimes, so means that
Downloading them.
Hmm?
So we will keep downloading them every time.
that's perfect. Yeah,
That's
you can do
great.
that.
Solution right there.
Yeah, you can see the week number 2. So there's a whole also homework. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do right now. Yeah.
Did you download it? How to download everything? With the HTML CSS. This is now we can do repository download. And then you're gonna get everything, all our course. Also,
They allowed it.
What's it?
They allowed it.
Drones? Yeah.
Now we're in the
You cannot use them everywhere.
What's it?
You cannot use them everywhere.
You can't. I saw when I walked inside around in the city. There's like close to the castle. There was like a sign saying no drones.
Yeah, that's when Munich.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah. Do you like drones? Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Well, you have a chance to combine it with programming. You can you do a lot of fun things.
I like it. I don't down one because I know my son will break it.
Yeah.
Into pieces. Jakby są do mączki, to są tyle ludzie, jak są władze z uczuciami. Ochotę ryzyku i sobie drżą po razie. Drżą za zinimo, to powiedz. A potem tylko? Bizon koleś drżą. Za bizon mechani? A zapiszony drżą, miałem do zeszłego.
it's not the best way to search this. Where is your content? We can put some. Homework, just call it homework.
Yeah. Wait, one second.
This week are like completely something. It didn't go. No, I didn't. So, actually, I don't like the
Yes. Yeah. And there's a task in that description. That's the task. This is in the GitHub. Actually, now you can download the whole lecture class. Yeah, this is it. You have it on YouTube, but now you have it on you can find it under the class. It's going to be like week 2 or underneath. Well, you find it sorry. Sorry.
And the Rex, there's
I think it's should be like
Someone can see that these are just images. These are images that are so you should open this video on your code editor. Yeah. So right now you have a project. Install it on your code editor do you use that, right? Yeah. So downloaded it now. This one.
This is the we have 3 rounds, one for
So now you need to make your assignment. Your assignment also your computer is download set in week 2. There are posts and D is a markdown. Probably the best way just to read it. This is your assignment. Good exercise. So now we download the images. And now you need to install that. You need to, of course. If you have a question how to complete the assignment, we can do it together. Yeah. So let me know. No, it's enough space. And then you put. Yeah. Yes. Perfect. So what you want to do is actually open the homework folder too. But that's the thing is, you need to understand that it's not only this one file. When you do work with a project, you probably want to open the whole folder in your code editor, like I showed you before. So you want this in your bracket. So you can try and drag it. Okay, it doesn't allow us to do it in Linux. So yeah, try open folder and find that folder. Actually, it's but then for the recording.
Emil Shotayla, Name sources.
It's fine. So,
And
Stop. You need to do both. It's up to you, teacher. We mean the Flexbox.
Should we do the assignment?
No, this is for homework. This is homework. You need to do this assignment first. Yeah. 1 second.
Gigabyte design ke लिए CSS.
Now you have one that's what is happening. Now it's full. Now you can upload in your section. Open. Do open file. On those learn No, this is going to be too much. You already have everything. Okay. Now you have so many folders. Try finding this. You need week 2. Then you need homework. This folder. Now you see what exactly what we need to work. Yes. You already have a lead. Now, CSS you can call it into a you want. You can see here you already created a link, but there's no style CSS file. So what you need to create, you need to create a link CSS file.
Is it a code?
Okay, not in the images. Or, I mean, you can also create a new, you can put in another, but I mean, then you have to change it out where it is. Right now you're linked to this file.
Sometimes you have
You can do it for yourself.
See, they're in the same folder. So
What do you want?
you give it a pen. And then this is just a tip for you. I see you put it in this one. And that was just and then write it on the wall. So what's
No problem.
I'm still finding the problem.
Why? No.
These are the files.
So what happened?
They this
It's a zip file. So extracted, yeah. Perfect. So 1, 2, yeah. But this was the last time you already. And you want to open it in your code editor. Yeah.
this one.
Yeah. Exactly.
Then folder.
Yeah. I think, yeah. 2? No, not the whole week 2. You just go into the week 2. Homework. Yeah, that's what you want. Indexes, here's your images, everything that's in that file.
I want to display.
Browser. So now you want to probably do this. In the browser.
This one. I just want to display this one. So we might have say just okay, I don't know. Open file. Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't do this, you can always do this. Open containing folder.
Yeah. So it just opens it inside of this program. So you need to find it in here.
So now you have it in the browser, you also have it here.
And
Did I answer your question?
I hope you're looking at the pictures.
I know, but it's a small difference.
Oh,
But
when
you
did
see,
you
these
save
questions
the-
are
these
based on
files?
your operating
Did
system.
you
So
save index
on Mac, on Windows, it'd be slightly different. But this is not part of the coding.
This
Yeah.
one is.
Your HTML files.
I don't know why the IDs can't.
Yeah,
I put the IDs, but it's not.
try more.
I think it might be this one. But see, you have many CSS, and oh, you have even more. So you probably guessed that you didn't put things into folders. So I think if I were you, I would first make a place where you put all your code, and then inside of that, you need to make a folder.
Okay, guys, if you want, I can show you how I organize my code when I work on a lot of projects at home, and I have a lot of different codes and projects.
So please show that.
And I see a lot of you guys, when you download files and you create project, you have your files all over the place. It's a bit of organization will help you in the long run. So I suggest you having something similar, not the way I do it, but something similar that it would be easy and quick to understand how and where your files are.
Let's
Yeah.
see.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's resolution
So
is
everyone-
terrible.
Everyone take a look up here because this is really important.
Give me a second. I need to change resolution on this monster.
Because when you have lots of index files on your desktop, it can go wrong. It doesn't know how to open it anymore. So you need to have a little more structure.
Okay, can you see it good? Okay, so point is here that in my computer, okay, maybe. Anyway, in my computer, I created a folder for myself, sites. Another computer, I have it called it workspace. And this place where I put all my projects, and since I have so many projects that I work on, I even categorize them. So I have clients that I work with at work. I have internal projects that I work with other friends in other companies. I have projects that I learn from. And you see, each project that I have has its own folder. Personal projects I work with my, just for my kicks, And in each project, in each folder, I have only the files that are related to that project. So when I organize them like this, it becomes so easy for me to quickly launch and open the project. Let's say I have my Visual Studio open, right? Or any other coding editor that you have. And what I do is usually where's my open folder? So since I've been opening them many times, it's what I can do in Windows. In Windows, it actually has you two options, or on other operating systems, open file and open folder. So probably you want to open folder, and in this case, I go to my sites, and let's say I want to open a project that I've been working on, and I open the whole project folder. And what I have here now is I have all the project files really in one place. It's so easy to work on it. So instead of having, the point of all this is just have your files and project that you work on in one place and organize it well. And that in the long run it will work, because you'll see that a lot of projects that you work on will have lots of files, and if you have them, in different places, I'm not gonna even open my project, but you're gonna have so much files everywhere. So keep the projects or the small projects that you work on contained in one place. And that place should be one place that you put your projects in. So when
It's
you
a
do,
little bit like how, on your laptop, you have a folder for images or for music. You want a place on your computer where you just have code.
Mhm.
it should all be there. It should all be in folders so that you don't have a lot of HTML and CSS files all together.
Yeah, in that case, it'll be super easy. Also, don't forget each code editor has settings, and you know we all are different people, and you can set up your settings the way you want. You can add my settings are like I use spaces for spacing, not tabs. A lot of people uses tabs, and you can Google online your favorite code editor and try Googling online how to set up, and then enter your code editor name, and you'll find that they have so many options. It's just not a text editor. That's why I saw some of you use Notepad+, and they're not meant for code. These programs, these code editors like Brackets, like Visual Studio, like Sublime, they're meant for coding. So all the options they have, they're meant for you to make your life easier. So, I mean, I set up a bunch of things, and in many places I have stuff when I write code. It gives me options. It lets me, it helps me to code better. It automatically understands what I try to write, and that's the purpose of the code editor. So try explore that thing and try explore the settings, and it'll help you be a better developer. Trust me. So that's all I wanted to show you. Just be organized and help yourself by,
We have to use Atom, or we can.
You can use Atom. Atom is a good choice. Brackets is a good choice. Visual Studio is a good choice. Sublime is a good choice. There's quite a few of them, but particularly look for code editors. Don't use the text editors for like Notepad++, because it's a text editor with slightly more features, but it's for any kind of text. Maybe people write their notes on that one and just need more options. That's Notepad++. So anyway, that's my tip for you guys, and good luck. By the way, I used at least half a year each of code editor that was released. So ask me anything about any editor, and don't think that, for instance, I use Visual Studio. I'm pretty sure in half a year I'll be using something else. It's just what I do. I love to test them all. It's my thing. So.
Best one that you use is Visual Studio.
I use Visual Studio, but I'm not saying that you should use Visual Studio. What I'm saying is you need to find time and try all of them. And when you start working on one or another, you figure out that that one is the best.
I would go even
That's
further.
why
I would
we
first
have,
make a
no
folder, and I would call it something like programming or code.
Exactly, use something else.
And then
You
inside
don't
of
like
that, I
Adam?
would put
Install something else.
Week 2. You see? You have a
Exactly.
document.
It's an opinion.
And
It's the same like,
that's
there are 5, there's BMW, Audi, and Mercedes, It's totally up to you which one you want to drive. That's the whole point with the...
You need to make a new...
No. I want you to use any code editor, but I want you to use a code editor. And I want you to learn it, and you'll find which one is best for you. That's just the point.
No. So you wanted to make a folder that is for all your code. All your code. Call it programming or code or whatever you like.
Yeah, but I don't understand how to make the grid.
Beautiful. Now you have that. And that's why you always put it. So inside there, now you can take this one and drag and drop it in there.
But if you want, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Should I use it?
That's it. So if you go in there,
But that's the point if you ask.
so this is where you have your images
Yeah, but in
and your HTML file.
So the image is here. These are the images.
Do you want me to
But you want to have them inside this folder. Otherwise it's going to go wrong.
So I have to put this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean the picture.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm not
Two
sure
files. You drag and drop that. Nice. And now the challenge is for you to find the right index because you have a lot of
I'm just
indexes.
letting you be like what it is. I'm not sure exactly how it is.
I just thought that you were explaining it fake because
Yes.
they will choose
one, because if I start to explain in detail, you don't have time. Okay,
Yeah.
there's so much.
You have to find the right one. I don't know which one it is.
No.
So right here,
Yeah.
it has
But so you have the structure. So next time when we have week 3, you put where do you put the week 3 you put it in that programming.
Okay. Maybe I should get this with you
And you
guys.
make it a new folder.
Yeah, thank you.
Very nice.
Maybe I should start. I heard a lot of people say like it's pretty vague how they explain the grids and
Yeah,
everything, and
yeah.
it's pretty straight to columns.
Yeah.
They don't know how to use breakpoints. Should we do
Yeah.
with them?
Yes, 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 and please steer. Like,
You want it?
no, please.
Sure. Okay.
Might want to have to turn it to US keyboard again.
I did. Oh, I can change it back.
Yes.
Nice. Git X, is that a UI for Git? What's a Git X?
GitX.
It's like a UI GUI?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't used it forever.
Yeah, there's actually I'm not a GUI person, I'm totally like online, but recently...
Exactly, because I almost just in command line, but I had one job where we had to be really careful.
Yeah, with it. Ooh, I know.
We staged and like all this stuff, and then I would use it for that.
I started using this one that's super amazing.
Okay, we should.
Yeah, sorry, totally. So I know the task is pretty vague, and we just touched upon the idea how it works. So I'm gonna do the task together with you guys, and I'll try to explain it. So maybe I'll put you in the right direction. But you know, I didn't go in detail explaining because we don't have time to explain everything in detail. So the point is, I give you a basic idea of what it is breakpoints, what it is responsive design, and now I thought we're gonna do the task and we learn at the same time. So I'll try to do that. Wow, it's big. Okay. Is there anything you use any software to make a full screen? Only that one, right?
Only this one, I
Okay.
think. Yeah.
No, it's not. Sorry. This is perfect. Okay. Wah. So, I need to download my homework too. Our homework. Okay, I don't need these. Oop. Don't save. What I need to do is I'm gonna do the same as you all guys did. Can I do the command line?
Yeah.
Okay. Not now, later, sorry. So, I'm gonna use git in the command line. Is this your work folder or not really?
Source, please.
Huh?
Source. It's SRC.
Okay. Somewhere here, I can do it here. Okay. Yeah. Thank your future.
Actually, I have it locally.
Oh, do you have what?
I have it locally.
Really? Here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see.
So it should be easier.
So, that's pretty much command line, and at some point you're going to do the same, and you can clone and copy your GitHub. In this case, I have the week 2 and the okay. So, would you use Sublime?
Yeah.
Do you have a shortcut?
Yeah. Sublime dot. Sublime space out.
Yeah. So pretty much I did the same what you guys did, but you did it in manual way and I did it in command line. We downloaded the folder, we have... That's not it, right? No. No. So can I just...
Sublime space out should work.
Can I make another copy of it?
What's it?
Can I just clone it again?
Yeah.
And call it like your future 2, okay? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So I'm downloading Git the same way you do it manually, like download folder. I did it with the Git in your computer. At some point you'll have to do this too. At some point. this way. uh, so Sublime. So what I'm doing, hey, why am I still not? Okay, now we're here. So I'm in the same folder as you are, guys, right? I have the same grid, same HTML, same images. Okay. First of all, to do any styling whatsoever, it's a trick case. We don't even have a styles file. So what I need to do is create a new file and save it. So you can see that I'm linking it directly where it is. So it is here. Cool. I'm saving this. Okay, so what is my task? Now, we're going to write a CSS for this page. We did create a CSS file. We're not allowed to change HTML. Okay, we're not allowed. So the page contains two grids. First one should look using floats. Second, you use Flexbox. Be careful not to mix the two. Okay. We want the grid look as follows. On mobile phones, 2 columns. So we need to actually have 2 grids, okay. Grid with floats. And then we have grid with flexbox. Okay, so let's close the grid with flexbox. We're just going to use for now grid with floats. Class ID, grid with floats, okay. And on mobile phones, 2-column grid with exception that the first item spans the full width. And tablets and desktops. Okay, so for now on, we need 3 breakpoints for mobiles, for tablets, and desktops. So I'll start with creating breakpoints. I don't remember them by heart. So don't forget to use internet and use whatever you can take. Most.
Can you get it a little bigger?
What the? I don't know why I can't. Well, what I Google is usually like, for instance, CSS tricks as a website, like with media queries for standard devices. So what they created is like, okay, I have phones, Windows. Okay, that's very, very specific. But you can find some of the media queries. But I'm not going to exactly use the very specific ones, but I'm going to just copy some of the code. CSS. So for mobile, probably what I want to do, I don't need these special settings. So for mobile, I'm going to take a min device. I don't need very specific. So I need design from and to. But there's a trick. If we start designing from mobile to desktop, it's not always, imagine I write some code right now, some styling, and then what I'm gonna do is, instead of writing very specifically only for mobile, I'm gonna do a general styling. So these classes will apply to all the screens, and then only when it reaches desktop, I'll update them. So what I'm trying to do is for mobile, I'm just gonna write it directly here. And okay, that's a comment, by the way. Don't you have a color coding? Never mind. So I know that tablets are what's the most famous for tablets. Phones, tablets, iPads. Yeah. So usually tablets are from to 1,000 pixels. So that's most common. So 769 to what was 1024. It depends on. Don't forget, it totally depends on your project, and it totally is. These breakpoints are up to you to set. These are standards, let's call it. 24, 2. I don't even need maximum. Everything that goes beyond 24, it's a desktop. So I'm gonna make myself a note that it's a desktop. This is tablet. So first of all, let's give it a try. Red. And I don't like it when it's 2 lines. I like it when it's like this. Much easier to read. Come on. Whoop. So what can you explain me what's gonna happen at the website right now with this styling?
If you open it on your phone, the background color will be red. You open it on a tablet, it'll be blue. If you open it on a desktop, it'll be green.
Yes, correct. But let's try when we're designing and doing for screen. Let's avoid calling them tablet and desktop. I tricked you with this. Rather, always see it as from devices that span from 78 to 2024, and this one from 2024 to up. Because it might be, in Asia they have devices that are weird as fuck. So you can have a phone that, trust me, is bigger than 781. And they would still call it a phone. So the point is, let's try not to label the sizes, but be scientific and call it devices that are this size. But you're right. Okay, where's my file? What I'm gonna do? Okay, I can't. Bam. So, I did something wrong. You see, my styling doesn't work at all. Did I save it? Did I save it? Yes, I did. Did I save it? Yes. Yes, I did.
Did you link the CSS into the email?
Well, I did. God damn it, But that's the thing. You see, it's always like that. Everybody makes mistakes, and you know what's the tricky part? That my console. Okay, console doesn't say any mistakes. It seems like everything is all right. I have no mistakes in code. There's nothing going on. Nothing on HTML. Okay, that says anything. So my HTML has no styling. Hey, maybe I did actually write my media queries wrong. Okay, should I? Did I? Well, the trick part is that even if I write I said this without any media queries, so even this does not work. So it means my whole CSS is not working in this case. Oh, shoot. So did
Wait, I didn't get what's wrong.
I don't get it as well, but that's that's the part. But that's the part of development. It's lots of times when you don't know what's wrong. Actually, now I am confused. Okay, head. Oh shit. I have mine. What the hell? Oh.
Oh, what?
No. I don't know. Can I do this? Body? Is it CSS? Yes, it is CSS. Am I in this file? Am I in this file? Okay, I need help, guys. Right?
But I have a question.
Yes.
Go back to the code.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you put an X meter for the mobile as well?
Yeah, because my point was that everything that is here, it applies to everything, including mobile. And only the things that need to change, I would change in certain. So if I would, why would I just, it saves me a little bit of code in this case.
Now I get what you're doing.
So, okay, but
But with What's wrong?
Yeah, but what's wrong? That is very...
So you cannot add dash
No.
body.
Are they on the same
Could
file?
it? Yeah, no, it's fine. Could it be that my comments are actually... Huh? Yeah, you see?
What? Just,
I had removed my comment, so maybe my comment was wrong because I remembered in CSS actually comments are written like this. Comment. So it's actually my mistake, and you know what? It's enough to have something like, the point was that enough of have something weird symbol in the wrong place and it stops working. It is frustrating. This is the comment in JavaScript actually. You comment things in JavaScript like this. So
but this was actually this was a really good thing to show, because when you make a slash and it doesn't see that it's a comment, then the computer is looking for folders, like where is it, and so
Yeah.
it's doing its job.
So the point is that, you know, you need to be very precise when you never, you see, I don't get frustrated when things don't work. It's just like, probably it's me. You never blame computer, never blame the code, because trust me, it's us who made a mistake. So be patient, go through your code again. If you think and if you, like, you know, last resort, delete everything, start from scratch, and you'll find a mistake. So you can see that, okay, why is it red? So, what's happening right now? I know what's happening. So, what we can see right now, okay, we start. So, now it's green. You know why? Because,
It was smaller than
no, because it was on the body. Right now, we're seeing green because we're in a desktop screen. So, to test it out, in Chrome, if you open the editor, you see in the top right corner, it says my width of the screen, right?
That's what I said.
So yeah, but right now we're in desktop. So the moment we reach 1,200, it needs to become tablets visual. So what? Somewhere. Oh.
Hi.
And somewhere. Oh. So that's a very basic example of breakpoints, right? So okay, let's maybe. Yeah.
It was a normal width before, but it was red.
Oh, because what I did is actually okay. That's why. Do you understand why? Because yeah, the body was red, but then the other colors were HTML. So body goes actually on the HTML. So
Oh, that's why it was red with a hint of green.
and exactly that's a good point why this code worked, because if I would say body here, it would be only on here. But since this one doesn't have any media query around it, it worked on every sizes. So when I made this body red, it worked on every single size. So, okay, now I tested it works. That's a good start, right? And, okay, what was my task? Now I need to finally go and see what I actually need to do. Wait.
But this was talking a little bit more about the breaking points, and now we saw how Nerius did it. We saw that he defined like 3 sizes, right? There's like the default. If you don't have any size, then it's going to be this color. If it's between this and this size, and this and this size.
And you see, I took approach from smallest to biggest. A lot of developers do it opposite. They design everything for desktop, and that's the original. And they said when it's lower than tablet, do this, and when it's lower than do this. So I went from small to big. I designed. A lot of people design it opposite. This approach is called mobile first, and I did it because my task actually was like this. My task was first create mobile phone design with then tablet, and then desktop. So right now I need to only focus on mobile phone. I need to create 2-column grid with the exception that the first item spans the full width. Okay, first of all I need to figure out my markup. So what I have is grid that floats, and I have grid items 1, 2, 3. It's actually very easy to do, in my opinion. So I have a bunch of elements that need to stack in 2 columns. There's a couple of ways to do it, but in this case, it's what we need to do is, okay, how the class is grid floats, grid item. I just grab the class grid item. What I do is grid item. it does one thing. It aligns it to left. But we're not going to see any difference right now, because to make any difference, okay, that's 1 second. For me, I like it to do this. I take that's my phone I use. So it's still, because what I need to, when you set the setting float, it will do floating and it will stack items next to each other. So what I need to do is now. So each item is only available to take 50% of the screen. And hey, look at that. Each element. Okay, where is that happening? So what happened? My grid items had each element takes 50%, but then images span all over. Okay, so I need to fix images. I need to, first of all, there's an unordered list. An unordered list has those dots. I don't know, I don't like them. But anyway, that's okay. Bam. What I need to do is maybe put a block just to make it nicer. And images side has images. What I want to do, images not to be bigger than, so I nest, say, okay, actually that's SAS. Let's stop doing this. Also preference how you write. So images will only take 100% of its parent item, so it can only take maximum of its parent. Let's see what that happened. Whoa, look at that. We said that images can only take 100%. So technically we achieved our goal here. But there are a couple of issues I don't like. For instance, you can see that another thing we never talked about is that, you see, when I open Inspector, I see some styling that is called User Agent Style Sheet. That means that each browser, Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, they have their own predefined styling. And in some cases, I don't like it. For instance, in this case, what happened is that unordered list has spacing. You see, these settings come from the browser. This is Chrome said, okay, I think that you want this styling, but in many cases, I don't want it. So what you need to look into, guys, there's actually one thing called normalize CSS or reset CSS. There's two competing. What they do is actually, you just need to download the CSS and also link it to your website. What it does, it actually removes most of things that browsers add that styling. That when you add this to your page, it will make all browsers look at your website the same way. Because if you don't add this, each browser will have slightly different thing, which is a bit annoying in my opinion. But again, it's up to you. It's up to your project. In this case, what I really didn't like is that, what was that? My UL grid floats has spacing. Had this annoying margin from left. I don't like that. And what I did? I'm just gonna remove it. You saw that this space here. It's really annoying because unordered list always adds those styling points, and that's why it pushes it. And that's what they call default behavior. I hate that. Okay, I did not do it right. Why is this space here? Oh, is this what? Oh, okay. Bum bum. Oh, it's my margin. Okay, is it more padding maybe left? So you can always test in your browser. You can add rules in the browser and see if it fixes your problem. Yeah, it's padding. It was not margin. So what I need to do now is actually go and actually change the code too.
A lot of stuff is going on right now. You
But
learned
stop
so
me
much.
if you see something. Stop me.
Yeah. And you learned so much today. I just want to remind you all that we're recording this. We're recording the screen, and so you will get this as a recording because this is a lot of information right now.
Okay, so So we did our first part of code, right? We on mobile phone, a 2-column grid. Looks like a grid, right? There are a couple of other tricks what I would see, for instance, you see, but all the elements stack nicely one after each other. It's grid, but hey, things like this happen. It's not like very nice. It seemed like how it worked right now, so you could see better. I would do one thing. How they stacked. What Flow does, they will stack one after another, but it'll not do grid per se. What happened right now, I can see order. 1 pixel solid red. So you could see what it did. Okay, since that 1 pixel added, you saw there was 50% width, and now I added 1 pixel around. It doesn't fit in 50. It was 50% plus 1 pixel. There's actually a trick here that new modern browsers do accept. So what you can do here is say like calculate 50% minus 2 pixels, because from both sides. So that's a very, so you can do a bit of calculation. No, because this is set on each element. One will have its -2, another will have its -2. So, but yes, and in many cases you need to calculate yourself first. Hey, look, so now I stacked them. So you see, there is space between them, and there's space, and now the second one just went there because it finds a little bit of space, which is not an effect always we want. Who can figure out this one of us? Who can figure out at home how to make it not to do this? It'll be really fun. No, there's this one setting that some of you mentioned. There's like something that's called clear float. Yeah, but you don't have. Remember, you cannot change HTML. So that's a trick. Okay, so back to our next. With the exception that the first item spans the full width. Ooh, that's a trick one. Or is it?
Wait, so the first item takes 100% of the width?
Yeah,
and
so
the rest are in 2 columns.
So
Exactly.
the drone 6 axis need to be full, so and the rest is not, and you cannot change CSS. So easiest way would be just to just go to your code and on the first item just write that the grid that spans full, and then add a class. But that's not the case now. So there's another thing in CSS that we can do is fully SAS user is and it's called or these are called pseudo classes or pseudo selectors. No, this is not pseudo classes. These are I think it's called first child. But yeah, I don't remember. Sometimes you just actually in my browser, in my editor, I set up everything. I just start writing. It gives me an all options. So that's why I don't even remember. That's a bad thing that I don't remember how to write this. But I set up my editor to help me out, and then I need to. So select first element, first child. So see, there's a selector called first child. Okay, this is a bad website. I don't like it. Yeah. Okay, internet, go on. So what happens? It does select first child, but what you need to remember, it does not work on classes. So if you have like div and padding, and it will only work on the same element. So if you have a list of p tag, a tag, p tag, if you say that first p tag, it will only select by element. So in this case, I'm not sure if it's going to work on the class. Let's say with, not 2000%, but let's give it a try. Let's see if it worked or not. Bam. It did work. So that helps you out that you can explore there. It's not, yeah. No. I worked in classes, but look, okay, I'll give you an example. Example first of a class, but look, okay, what I do this right now without the class. Dude. Doesn't work anymore. Well, anyway.
Well, because 2 is the first child.
Yes, but why it's not 100% now? Anyway, the point is you do it at home and you explore it more in detail. Maybe there's more to know. And also, you saw this selector of first child. Remember, there are selectors like last child, nth child. Like you can select every third child, and so there are money. So you can Google. Yeah, go ahead.
Is that you can put a class and then the first child.
Mhm.
That's what you did.
Yes.
Literally right now. You put dot grid I.
Okay, I'll give you later on an example. That now it's out of scope a bit, and it's pretty complicated to explain. But you'll see that there's difference between setting the nth elements on child and a group of sibling elements. But then again, there's explanation. One sec. There's no explanation. Anyway, we'll talk about this later. But that's the very first. So technically, we completed the first task. Now we do it on tablets. We need 3 columns, 2 items span full width together. So the first one columns, then after the first one, to have 3 columns. I mean, it's pretty much exactly the same case, but slightly different settings. So it is very simple. Go grab and write it here, and that's gonna be on the tablet. So I don't want to work. I don't want to do it anymore because this is just now. It's repeats, but it's different settings. So I want you to do this at home yourself, and I'd rather go on our other case where we have to do a bit of.
And I want to say that this week, I hope you all are very active on Slack, because if you have any trouble with this, you're probably not alone. You know, this is tricky. You had a lot of information here. We're gonna share with you all the links for all the texts we want you to read, and take your time. You have a whole week to do this. Don't stress now, but help each other out. We'll also be in Slack to help you out, but. Everyone should ask questions in Slack, and if somebody asks a question and you can answer it, like hurry and answer that question.
Now now we're gonna move to another point. The second one, it's a bit of different using the Flexbox. So first of all, we applied this to all the grid items, even the ones that are in. You see now we have here grid items. And we also have grid items in here. So the only way to differentiate them is the ID that is here. So what I need to do is and nest them. So now I need to say grid floats. So now every time I say bam, bam space, bam space, bam space. So I'll call this area float, and now I'll start do. So another thing is now complicated. You see, now we're getting a lot of code before here, and now we need to remember that some of the code is here, and this settings change needs to be here. It gets very complicated. What you can do is how a lot of coders do, so you wouldn't lose your track of your code, is actually instead of declaring this once and writing all our code, what would I do is actually I copy this and I say like grid floats, and I set grids. And now I only do changes to grid floats here. So my point is that you see now I'm designing grid item here, and I instantly do the same design for tablet here. Instead of having a lot of code that's on mobile here and a lot of code that's mobile here, then it would be super hard to find it. Now I did changes for mobile. Now I need to find where the grid, so I have to scroll through big file. It's way easier. Related elements, keep them together. This is tablet, this is mobile, this is tablet, and then it would be desktop, and for each styling. So then you see one styling of one element in one space. That's a preference for me. That's how I do it. But it's up to you. And in this case, I don't know, it would be 30% minus 4 then, I guess, for desktop. Okay, I did your second task actually for you. Maybe Maybe I did, maybe I did not. Anyway, the point is here that we now want to do a bit of styling for flex grid item. Pretty much it's the same, but syntax is different. You have to use this rule, but use this rule not on the item itself, actually on the group element. So I say display flex, and then flex direction growth, and then I mean, me now typing all this code doesn't make it say a lot of words. I showed you how to do floating and putting elements in floats, and you know how now understand how the breakpoints work, right? So what I want you to finish doing floats, which is just copy pasting what we did and changing some settings, and do the Flexbox. And that's the first step. For the Flexbox, you just need to, on the element set the flex, set how the Flexbox looks, flex settings, and it should work. So, and this is where I want you to read and do your homework yourself. It's pretty easy, but you understand how this works now.
Can you share that CSS file? Because it's too much.
No, I can share you what we did in class, and that's it. And that would be a good starting point for you. So I'll share this much. That's the first point of the first task. And from there on, it's almost the same, but then there's always this extra another setting you have to add. And for Flex Grid, I hope you start doing it yourself, and I'll help you out in doing the week. I will answer your Slack questions, but ask them not directly me, ask them in the group, so everybody could see the answers. I can also, if you don't understand, you can ask me, I can give you some code examples. So, okay. Any questions so far?
My brain went, I can't handle one question.
Okay, that's why. I'm happy that I stopped, because if I go further, it will be even more boom.
We're sharing this with you, and also on Slack, we're gonna again make it really clear what your homework is.
Mm-hmm.
Was it okay this time? Did you see that there was like a pinned message that said homework?
Yeah.
If ever you are confused and you can't find out, where to find things, let us know, because we want to make sure it's really easy for you.
Yeah.
Can we do like Class04, can we have like two rooms and stuff? One for the links you sent us and the other one for questions.
One for what, sir?
One for the links you sent us during the class and for the videos. And
Oh, you want to separate the links from the whole chat?
yeah. Chat for Class04 just for the links you sent, because
I think because we already have so many, Slack channels as coaches, we have so many already, so we would prefer maybe not.
What we can do, we can create on GitHub next to our class files when we go to GitHub. If you want, guys, we can query here, let's say in our GitHub weeks. So we can create when you go to, let's say, week 2. This is this class, and okay, and we can have here another file which is called links, and then you click on it, and it'll be like all the links, and I'll try to describe them, everything. Will that be okay?
Yes.
Okay.
it's hard to like go up the way up.
Yeah, and look for. I tried to
Yeah.
pin some of the links what we do have in class 4. If you open the information bar, there's also this pinned items. So this is where I put some of the links, and you click on this, and it automatically goes back to where I posted all the files. Yeah, a bunch of links. So I tried this, but maybe it's not the best way. Maybe we're gonna create a GitHub file with a bunch of links.
Thanks for the feedback, because it's really important. If you spend time on your homework, you don't want to spend time finding your homework. That's bad.
So yeah. Anywhere else we can make your life better? No, seriously, that's why we're here. So ask us to do something differently. I don't know, was it good that I showed and explained something, or?
Yes, of course.
I know it's a lot.
And you're doing a really good job. I saw this week that you were active on Slack. Do it more. Like, it's super good.
Please bug us, write us a lot,
Yeah.
write our channel, If you see no, we don't reply, use @channel in Slack. If nobody replies your message, what you can do is like, wait, specifically, or just if you add, and you can specifically tag a person, but I suggest you do rather channel, and then say, hey, I need help, la 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 la,
What would that do?
my life, you know. So, and automatically everybody will get Class04. Everybody will get notification, and I see the notification on my phone, so I know that okay, you're gonna reply. Okay. Me, I posted. I actually knew that.
Thanks a lot.
so, yeah. And remember, guys, the more you work to at home, and the more things you bring in class, we can help you here. We can switch to you and help you out. If anyone wants to, actually, I'm here for another half an hour. If anyone has questions or something, I can help with very specific.